Good evening. My name is Felicia Freeman. I'm a Center Operations Director on Concentra's Arizona leadership team. I'm speaking with you all this evening regarding Concentra's organizational design and structure, as well as providing suggestions for future changes. Thank you for making the time to hear my presentation. Concentra was founded in 1979 by Dr. Richard Fem in Amarillo, Texas. He founded the organization with a team of clinicians passionate about partnering with employers to provide quality care. Concentra's business model utilized a multi-channel approach to provide occupational health, urgent care, and physical therapy services to employees. The organization started with one clinic that had 7 employees and served 40 patients per day. Presently, Concentra has 787 clinics in 45 states with 12,000 employees and serves 50,000 patients per day. Concentra still utilizes a multi-channel approach to provide occupational health, urgent care, and physical therapy services to employees. In addition to standalone clinics, Concentra also offers on-site employer work sites, as well as telemed health services when appropriate. 1 in 5 workplace injuries is treated at a Concentra clinic. The organization has grown exponentially and is continuing to grow. The 8 dimensions that Fortune magazine rates to compile the most admired companies list are innovativeness, quality of management, long-term investment value, social responsibility to the community and environment, people management, quality of products and services, financial soundness, and wise use of corporate assets. Fortune utilizes these dimensions to provide a thorough analysis on what makes an organization admirable, as well as provides tips for organizations that strive to be featured on this list in the future. I gathered this information through web-based research and believe it is crucial because it provides a solid foundation for overall organizational health. These dimensions also provide the framework for sustainable growth and excellence. Now we'll talk a little bit about Concentra's underperforming dimension of innovation. Concentra still utilizes OcuSource, which is the same software system from 1979. While this system was crafted by Concentra, it has not received beneficial upgrades over the years. With our volume, the system is not equipped to sustain our demand. We also utilize paper for most of our patients, which leads to an additional step of scanning each chart to the respective employer. Our Mesa clinic sees 110 patients a day and is responsible for scanning each document for the employer to receive. Lack of technology creates frustration for employees and the patients that are filling out the paperwork. We also utilize a universal treatment approach with little room for individualization. Work injuries are treated universally with little regard for each patient's individual needs. This approach leads to confusion and raises ethical questions regarding quality. The main ramification of our lack of innovation is productivity loss. OcuSource frequently crashes due to its inability to handle the excessive use across all clinics or fails to sync information into the portal for employers to receive results. These lags lead to a loss of productivity and frustration among all invested parties. These crashes cause specimens to be lost and limit patient care coordination. They also lead to employees duplicating work, which increases our burnout rate. Employees are the heart of our organization, and burnout causes significant delays in our workflow. We pride ourselves on providing quality care and being a reliable provider, but this issue prevents us from delivering on that. If we are not able to provide quality services to our employers and give them the services that they need, we run the risk of losing their business. Losing employer business will lead to a substantial financial loss, which in turn will jeopardize our organization overall. Concentra's structure is mechanistic, meaning that is rigid. We operate using a traditional bureaucracy, which utilizes hierarchical communication and breaks tasks down by role. We have set roles within our clinics, and our employees perform the task assigned to them. Our company has a team of high-level leaders that is comprised of our Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Chief Medical Officer, and Chief Operating Officer. Under these leaders are a wide range of directors for each of the 45 states we conduct business in. Underneath those directors are clinic-specific directors. At the clinic level, each center operations director works in tandem with the center medical director to oversee all center employees. With a hierarchical reporting structure, it can be difficult to make and communicate changes. And this leads to where we struggle with innovation. Our organizational structure relates to our struggle with innovation because it causes delays in any type of changes being implemented. Decisions are made centrally by the top leaders and slowly disseminated to our centers. Having a small group of individuals make decisions for our entire organization causes a discrepancy between changes that are functional and changes that are unfeasible at the clinic level. This discrepancy hinders our organizational effectiveness and reinforces our lack of innovation. Communications regarding changes are dispersed via emails or squeezed into a company-wide operations meeting that is only 1 hour per month. Timelines are also presented without considering the barriers that centers may face when attempting to implement. These issues cause innovation to come to a halt and create confusion across centers. Now we'll talk a little bit about our organizational culture. Organizational culture refers to a system of shared norms, assumptions, and values that guide the behaviors and attitudes of employees. There are 4 levels of culture within an organization. Artifacts refer to physical aspects of an organization's culture. Examples of our artifacts include the blue scrubs that all colleagues wear, as well as the monthly award plaques that are given to colleagues that exceed their job expectations. Espouse values refer to the values that an organization states and advertises. Our spouse values are that we have a healing focus, a selfless heart, and a tireless resolve. These words can be found written on our website and on the walls throughout any Concentra center. Enacted values or norms refer to the values or norms that reflect an organization's behaviors. Our enacted values or norms include a uniform approach to treatment, unethical behaviors such as forcing overtime and preventing adequate meal breaks, and operating according to a for-profit model. Assumptions refer to values that are inherent and have become a core part of the organization over time. One of our assumptions is that employees are motivated by challenging work rather than praise or physical accolades. Our organizational culture contributes to our lack of innovation and has room for improvement. Now we'll talk a little bit about conscious culture. Currently, our organization is not embodying conscious culture. The principles of conscious capitalism are a higher purpose, stakeholder orientation, conscious leadership, and conscious culture. Our lack of innovation causes us to fail to address the needs of our stakeholders. Lack of innovation also sets the precedent for traditional top down leadership to take place, which hinders the ability for conscious culture to be fostered. Our inability to innovate also limits our focus on a higher purpose because we are not creating value outside of making a profit. We pride ourselves on being a for profit company, and many of our practices support that goal. Embracing innovation and setting the tone for conscious leadership to take place would allow us to be more in line with conscious capitalism. Adopting conscious capitalism would make room for decentralized decision making, which would in turn foster the space for innovation to thrive. As innovation thrives, productivity and profits would increase, stakeholder satisfaction would improve, and a positive culture would bloom. Now we'll talk about my proposed plan. My proposed plan will be following the model of Cotter's 8-step change model. To create a sense of urgency, I plan to highlight the significant productivity loss data and stakeholder frustration that is caused by our lack of innovation. Focusing on a strict timeline to implement change will also create a sense of urgency to rectify this issue. To build a guiding coalition, I will recruit colleagues from various positions within our organization and give them roles that will allow them to drive changes. This group will be kept small to emphasize clear communication and ensure that decision making is efficient. To form a strategic vision, I will use the following SMART goal. Within 6 months, we will increase productivity by 30% and increase our national patient experience rate from 65% to 75%. 6 months is a feasible amount of time to enact change and see a noticeable difference in our patient experience rates. Increasing productivity will reduce errors, which in turn will limit the delays that patients and employers face due to our outdated systems. To enlist a volunteer army, I plan to create an anonymous survey link that will be sent to our team members. This survey will explain the changes we are implementing, as well as allow them to provide feedback. I will share these results with our team during our meetings and collaborate with them on ways to implement their suggestions. It is important that our team feels welcome to contribute and included in the process. To remove barriers, I plan to address them and collaborate with our team to feasibly clear the path. Utilizing conscious leadership and assessing our organization holistically will allow me to be successful in accomplishing this, even though setbacks will likely occur. To generate easy wins, I'll create a wins wall in our break room where employees can share their wins. This will encourage them to celebrate things that are going well and improve morale through the change movement. To increase the pace, I will use the momentum from our small wins to drive larger change initiatives. As we learn what works, we can adjust and continue challenging ourselves to build upon our increased competence. To institute change, I will ensure that these changes become a part of our organization. Training programs will be updated for new hires and current colleagues. Leaders who will model these changes, and I will highlight the connection between these changes and our success as an organization. Some potential challenges that we may face while implementing this plan include resistance to change, ineffective communication, and change fatigue. To counteract resistance to change, I will focus on communicating transparently and identifying the source of the resistance. To combat ineffective communication, I will utilize active listening and emphasize collaboration with our team. To overcome change fatigue, I'll prioritize changes and pace them. These strategies will allow our team to be a part of the change and gradually focus on making changes rather than being bombarded with too much at once. The subsystems of operations and information technology will need to be realigned to support these changes. Our operations team will need to establish clear goals, develop communication channels, resolve conflicts, and coordinate actions. Our information technology or IT team will need to bridge the gap between IT and operations, monitor performance, address roadblocks, and adjust strategies. This realignment will pave the way for successful implementation. Throughout the course of this research, the main lessons that I've learned are the importance of stakeholder engagement, embracing conscious capitalism, and utilizing Kotter's 8-step model, involving stakeholders in the process and creating organizational goals that benefit them paves the way for successful change management. Embracing conscious capitalism allows an organization to create a higher purpose, which in turn increases their value and leads to higher profits. Utilizing Kotter's 8-step model is a practical way to create lasting and feasible change. I will use these lessons to design the structure, build culture, and manage change in my future organization. That concludes my presentation for this evening. I would like to thank you for your time and open the floor to any questions that you may have. Thank you so much.